Okay, so hello everyone. So we're gonna get into a reading, but before we get into the reading, I just want to um, open up with some energetic messages that I have been receiving. So it's just gonna cleanse the air, cleanse the air, cleanse the wind around us. 1, 2, 3. Breathe, take it in. Real subtle, real smooth. 3 is our lucky number. Okay, threes have a lot to do with teaching and learning, understanding that you are more. So I'm gonna roll the dice. Okay, so 4. Okay, so when it comes to synchronicities, when it comes to more of the spiritual aspect of things, you're going to be experiencing the threes. In more of a practical sense, it's going to be the number 4. Okay, so magical things are going to happen in 4. Supernatural things may happen in 3. Okay, 4 represents masculinity and 3 represents femininity. Okay, so there could be something here about balance, bridging the gap between the spiritual and the physical. Okay. Whew. Now that we got that out, of the way, I picked up very nervous energy. Not necessarily panic, meaning that there's fear based around the nervousness, but it's kind of like shuffling around through things, doing things with your hands, and you find this impatience or ill temperament, in whatever it is in which that you're doing, because the thing is that there are things going on inside of your mind that you are not addressing, that you are trying to avoid. Okay, so it's kind of like that jumping monkey in the back of your head to where it wants your attention. Give that monkey a banana. Okay, you are the sage. Okay, and some sages, more masculine sages, whether you're a woman or a man, they have a tendency to work with animals. The monkey represents the trickster. Okay, in psychology, we compare this to the monkey mind, to where an individual is kind of like the monkey is bored. It needs a challenge. So there's something going on here with masculinity and need a little fire up under your ass. Okay, so it's giving real tribal. Okay, real fiery, real like beating on the chest, King Kong type shit, real like warrior type. Okay, so that's a lot of energy. You must feed that. Somebody has been trying to suppress. Okay, so suppression, you may have been trying to, when we want something from people, we have to be a little, like nice and people pleasing. So, whenever you want something from someone, you put on the good face. But once you get it, you take the mask off and you are who you are. Okay? I'm not saying that's good and I'm not saying that that's bad. The thing is to appreciate and love you, accept who you are. Because if there are changes that you want to make or that you want to see within yourself, you have to accept certain things first. There's also something here about accountability. Okay? Somebody runs away from taking accountability. You're never going to truly have what you want if you don't learn how to stand up for yourself. Taking accountability is standing up for yourself, because that's a way in which that you demand your respect, especially when you have integrity. People don't have to agree with you, and you don't have to get what you want out of people. But when it comes to foundation, it's kind of like we should be seeking more respect instead of attention. Okay? So, remember, the sage and the monkey. The monkey represents the trickster. The trickster is like the devil. So it's kind of like you have the saint within you, you know, that is bigger than the trickster, you know, but you have to remember that you are in control. So there's something here about mental health, needing to work on your mental health, needing to set mental boundaries. Whatever, stop living in your head. Whatever you have to say, whatever you think, you know, you know what you're supposed to do. You hold back because you want something from people. So that's the trickster. That's why your trickster is out of control. That's why you can't control it. It's like a little kid, you know, and you've had this trickster since it was a baby, and it still acts like a baby. Why haven't you trained your inner demons yet? But it's kind of like on the outside, you be trying to make it seem like that's who you are. That's not really who you are, because you haven't done the work. That's okay. It's time to do the work now. Okay, so what are the messages for whomever it may concern? You scared to hear the truth, but you need to hear it, because that's kind of like, that's a representation that you don't like responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't, but sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. It can't always be about what you want and how you want things to be and how you want things to go. You know, you operate off of your ego. Everything has to be instant. It's like instant gratification. You tell yourself that you want something long term, but it's kind of like, and when I say long term, that's in many areas of your life. You want long lasting stability. You're trying to get there. You know that you can get there, but it's like you be letting your trickster run the show, and that shit be setting you back, and it has been setting you back for a long time. Your trickster always gives you the wrong idea. There's a part of yourself that resents you, and it may reflect in your relationships to where people can do the smallest shit. You could be unreasonable as hell, and somebody can do the smallest shit and you will resent them, and that resentment is like real strong. It's so childish, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like your trickster, you have not grown your trickster. You have not accepted that you are one with the darkness. So you do not know self. So you need to go on a self-discovery journey. You know how to get there. You know how to get into it. Oh no. You've been playing because you've been bored. The master gets bored because it's just like, I've mastered this shit. I've learned. You know what I'm saying? But be creative. How else can you branch off of your gift, your talent? Because there are more ways than one. It's all about how you get creative. Take pride in what you do. It doesn't matter what other people say or think, or if you're going to be glorified for what you do it because it means something to you. We got the devil card here in the position of the crown. So, whatever. Okay, High Priestess in reverse, Eight of Cups in reverse, Seven of Wands, creativity, Three of Pentacles. Standing up and being genuine. And somebody is disappointed because they couldn't see it. So is this so the thing is that you have been entertaining the wrong idea about somebody. And in some shape, form of way of through their creativity, it's kind of like you're seeing you had the wrong idea. But there's that trickster, because the devil represents the trickster. So this trickster is trying to tell you like, oh no, don't feel bad, you know, it's all fake, it's all a cover up. Like the trickster is just feeding you false ideas because your ego does not want you to feel that sadness. That's why I say you live in your head. You need to start freeing your mind. This is how we can work on our mental health. Say what you gotta say, even if motherfuckers get upset about it. You know, other people don't have to hear what you have to say. When it comes to me, I make video diaries. I go back and I watch myself, you know, from the outside, you know, and I observe myself. I study myself. Because my thing is that you give me self-centered and you give me selfish. You can use that. You can turn that into something beautiful. Because the more in which that we put into ourselves is going to reflect in our relationships, how we're related and how we are connected and loving other people within our relationships. So if it's challenging within your relationships, you know, it can't just be everybody. You got to take some type of responsibility too. But you're probably always creating scenarios in your head to where it's always somebody else. That's because you don't want to take accountability. Your ego is not your amigo because it's toxic, which means that it's open to negative influence. You be tricking yourself. That's what I'm saying. You neglect your dark side. You need to go on a self-discovery journey. You know, stop trying to hide. Stop trying to hide that. You know, you trying to hide it because you don't have it under control. You don't have it tamed. So go in and tame that motherfucker so y'all can walk next to each other side by side. Because you're not never going to get, that's a part of you. You're never going to kill that off. That's never going to go away. That is the polarity, the balance of light and dark. With light, you need contrast. And the light is not always the truth, because the light can create shadows. And there are things being done in the shadows that the light is not exposing. There's truth in light and there's truth in darkness. When it comes to masculine energy, you need to be working on accepting and practicing creating confidence for yourself, no matter what anybody else says or thinks about you. And you need to be real with yourself about that too. Because remember, there is a part of you that wants things from other people and you want connection. So be true to what it is in which that you really want, and don't be sitting up here trying to make it seem like it's all about gain with you when it's really not. You are more than what you see yourself. You have challenges with other people because they can see it, and it may be intimidating to them. This is what happened when you don't see the diamond within you. So, you know, you need to go on that self-discovery journey. Because you need to accept all of who you are. You know, that's how masculinity heals. You may be in a certain position within your life that you don't want to be in. You have to accept that. And you can't be a jerk and be taking that out on other people neither. Rather, you're a man or a woman. Because there's a lot of women that operate out of masculine energy. You know. Okay, so I'm not picking up on anything else. So I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy with me. So until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.